Welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange Podcast. Stories by leaders for leaders to help you raise the bar on your own excellence, to release the potential inside of you. Now, here's today's podcast. Greetings, everyone. This is Hugh Ballou, founder and president of Synervision Leadership Foundation, where we help leaders create synergy with their vision, building teams, high-performance teams, and helping a lot of people, impacting lives. We transform leaders, transforming organizations, transforming lives, and that needs a new way of thinking. This is episode 334 of the Nonprofit Exchange, and my guest is Michaell here. And Michaell, I'm not sure I can pronounce your last name. So Michaell's coming in from California, USA. So Michaell, tell us how to say your name and a little bit about you and your passion for the work that you're doing.
Okay, thank you, Hugh. My name is Michaell Magrutsche. I was born in Vienna, Austria, and I was a sick child. And when I was about 7, they put me in school, and I got my second slam in the face, where I discovered or was diagnosed. And the diagnosis was like, you're dyslexic. And but you have to still pass all the tests and read like everybody else. So I failed 3 grades and tried to repeat them. After the 3rd, there was no way more to be in the system of education, and I started the odd job selling tapes out of my trunk, being a DJ, being a fashion show producer. And by the age of 30, I realized, I'm an artist because it saved my life. The consumption of art, like it did a lot of adolescent. We see a film and all of a sudden everything is good, at least for a short while, or we hear some music. And I think that was a pivotal point by this, that I decided I'm an artist. And having talked to a lot of artists since then, even very talented artists have a hard time to coin themselves as artists. And I think everything changed from that point on, where I just leaned into creation of art, because I said, that's, if nothing works, that always works. And hospitality on the other side, as you know, we artists have to support ourselves in some way to do the passion that we have. And that was about it. I've written 5 books. I co-produced with Robert Evans, who did The Godfather and Love Story. I was City Arts Commissioner of Newport Beach. So art was my plug-in into systems where I actually could be relevant in some way or form in the systems.
Thank you. What do you mean by man-made systems?
Man-made system is everything we created. It's New York, it's Singapore, it's your company, it's your religion, it's your political party, everything that we created, your farm, it's all, even though in a farm you interact with nature, but it's still a system, and it's not, we didn't create humans, and we didn't create nature, and whatever we didn't create is a man-made system. And the problem, the teeter-tottering that I see right now in humanity is we don't know exactly, when have you last heard somebody saying we are a species of nature? Nobody says that even, but we are, because we are reacting in all our ways, interacting with you and me, interacting with animals, interacting when we go to nature, differently than we are going into a culture and being in the culture of a company. And there's variants of how things are done there. And since we are adaptable, we adapt those things that we have learned. And And the problem with that is we are not aware of it. So it's not I'm not blaming anybody. I want to just make aware we are species of nature, and we're not a species of systems. And our confusion comes because we are adaptable, that we don't know what to do, because we function in, we get born in a hospital as a system, we get baptized as a system, we get to school as a system, so we have spent more time as a living being in systems. And that's where we lost ourselves. And that's why, religions are helpful, art is helpful, because it's the humanities. We can reconnect humanly, And I think that's the point that I want to make.
So getting into our creative spirit, you find helpful, being in touch with our God-given creative sense.
Exactly.
I'm an artist, I'm a musician, and we make sounds out of dots on paper.
Yeah.
You create visual art with colors and brush, lots of different things. I'm also a photographer. I own a photography business and sponsored art contests with young photographers who are artists and creating through that medium. So there's lots of ways that we approach this relevance. It's really a form of self-expression, creative self-expression. So I'm a little prejudiced. I think that those of us in the creative arts have a little different perspective than some other people, because we're able to express ourselves fully. What do you think?
I say, because I know you're a conductor, you divulged that to me secretly, that I use the conducting as a sample, as a metaphor. I say, in a company, in a system, in a company, the CEO has no idea if the lowest person doesn't sweep the floor correctly, or put the iPhone together, or glue the sole on a Nike shoe. But when it will be just exchanged, and he doesn't know what's going on the bottom. He has no idea how they feel on the bottom, because he's just, he got into Ivy League school, and mostly Ivy League school, and was always on the top tier of systems. So when you have the first violinist and the best conductor like you, and what happens is, if the oboist doesn't do his job, the whole performance is null and void.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I say is, art brings us always back to the blueprint of how humans could function. And you have found that, once you're good with an animal or with other humans to create something enlightening, like music, or art is a tool to make us feel heaven on earth. And if you can do that, and are in touch with that superpower, not being, I'm the conductor, I'm all that, and everybody else, goes with my whatever I had to say. And for example, I do a lot of it with leadership. Because I was a leader, born leader all my life. So I think there's something that's born in it, but there's also something that to understand. And I'm a human relevant leader. I'm not a system relevant leader. I'm a human relevant leader, meaning I try to be the most self-aware person to keep the team in balance. Because when I trust that the team can do its job, which you have to do too. You cannot learn every instrument and teach everybody what to do. I trust, so I am most self-aware, being in the moment and trying to conduct the team. I just give them a direction, what to do, where to go, and not to say, you must now, hit the cello, So So you understand that. So that's why you and I were, we connected, because we talk the same language.
Well, and there's no accidents here. So you just iterated a lot of the fundamental principles we teach. Now, we don't have to agree with everybody on everything. We're in a culture where people want to persecute others for different opinions. Yeah. So there's lots of forms of creative expression in all kinds of media. Let me throw out a couple of quotes. The British composer-conductor Ralph Vaughan Williams in the 50s was known to have said, music did not reveal all of its secrets to just one person. So we each bring some wisdom to the table. Now that word music could be changed to a different word, leadership. So how do you respond to that quote?
8 billion people, 8 billion DNA, 8 billion fingerprints. There's your answer. It might not be nature's hint that we are inclusive and that we all need to work together, or might this nature's hint to be more separate, like systems are teaching us, So I think he's absolutely right what he said. Every person contributes. And if you want to experience power, not money, power, you want to really experience power, you see your opposite as a reflection of you. You see all the opposite. If you like him or if you don't, you see him as object of you. We had a guy that was always negative in the team. And I said to him, I love that you're always pessimistic and negative. We need that. We cannot be all in harmony, because as you know, a symphony is harmony and dissonance in balance. See, the key is balance. It's not power over, power under. It's balance and harmony in the human-centric way that I teach or that I live my life. It's not the system way, and we see that all the system are crumbling because people become more self-aware, and they want to go to work and saying I'm relevant, and not go on social media and say I gotta go crazy, cut my finger off. I did a talk and they said, I'm going to cut my finger off. I took a scissors and said, I'm going to cut my finger off. Okay, do I have your attention? Because I only have 9 fingers left to get your attention. So that's the world we're in, and we are not aware that we are in that world,
So what does it mean by system relevant versus human relevance?
System relevant is, okay, we are selling tires, and we need to sell as many tires as possible. So possibly, if there's still a thread on it, you should not wait till the thread is gone. You should sell new tires. And the more thread is on, the more you sell tires. Human relevance would mean, okay, there is the plastic that goes in the air, and people are inhaling the plastic and eating the plastic from mostly tires. We eat about a credit card a month, that is in us, that gets in us. And we want to ride tires as long as they are safe, not good, bad, right, wrong, as long as they are safe. So if you live in California, you don't need a lot of thread. Obviously, in Maine, you need a lot more thread than in California. And it's always looking at what the situation is for humans. So AI, for example, is going to create is an amplifier. Like every technology is an amplifier. From Ford motor cars, that it doesn't take days and days to create a car, but the conveyor belt gets it fast out. It's always, technology is always an amplifier. Make it bigger, better, faster, cheaper. And we are now have reached a point where we see, oh my God, Hugh, I can't even meet you if I don't connect with you just by chance. I cannot search you out. So how I want to talk to a conductor, an artist about leadership. I can't put that into Google. I can't find, there's no time to go through the Google results alone, so we run out of time to meet, to actually get into a sales funnel, and to actually have the money that we have to have too, and then have the time to use what you teach, the product, the service. So we find finally that time, which has every human has the same time, obviously if we all live to the same age, but we all have the same time. And time is the most expensive or most valuable thing we have. And it's not gonna work if you, and that's why the young generation work all your thing, your everything off to then retire. And that's a mind construct, and then enjoy life. If you don't enjoy life right now, like I'm milking this moment with you.
Yes.
You're lost.
Well, there's a lot of, we could do the rest of the day in interviews with any of these channels that you're setting.
Yeah.
And it basically, what I'm coming to is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Who are we? Who has God created me to be? How will I make a difference? How will I show up fully present in the world? And so here's another question that's coming up. Why is every living being worthy by existence in nature?
Because first of all, we know, even science knows, that nature is perfect. There is no surplus that has to be discarded by nature or hauled off the planet. Nature adapts and balances all the time. And in nature, when you exist, let's say the elephant or the ant, you're worthy, because nature doesn't have surplus or a lack. We need more elephants. When the elephants die out, or the dinosaurs, they're gone. Nature adapts, and it keeps going on. It's perfect. It's a perfect system, a natural system that is not created by humans, but somebody else or something else, and therefore, since we have established that we are a species of nature, there is nobody that can be not worthy. He might not, or she might not have system value. Yeah, so every human has a right to exist. This is in the human rights, it's in everywhere. Nobody cares for it, but every human living being has a right to exist. And it's not a mistake that they exist. It's not like, okay, you are great, but I wish you were better, but this is what we take in from systems. We take that we're not good enough, because system works on a lack, which is the financial principles, is always creating a lack. Next quarter, better, more, cheaper.
Well, you're talking to an audience that cares about the value of humankind, because we exist to impact people's lives. So let's have a little fun. Now, apologize for people that are on the audio podcast. You won't be able to see this, but you can go to the nonprofitexchange.org, and you can find this episode and find the video there, and you can see this. But we're going to talk, and certainly you can listen to us and you can find what we're going to talk about. But I'm going to go to Michaell's website. Now, Michaell, your last name is Magrutsche. How did you pronounce that?
Magrutsche. And I would just say, forget my last name. Just go to Michaell with 2 L's, m.com. Then you find all my stuff.
He has 2 L's. It's MICHAELLM.com. Now, a couple of intriguing things here. You've got about me. Michaell's goal is awareness, and the other one beside it is my inspirations are aesthetics. So talk about those two. Those are fascinating.
Awareness is what I say always. It's like you can read every book in the world about love. And there has been a lot of books about love. If you have never felt love in your life, all these books are just words. You can, if you can teach your son or daughter not to touch the stove, you can have him read. You have to, repeat steps. Why not touching the stove? The moment they touch the stove and burn yourself and themselves, they are aware for the rest of their life. That's why I think it is the experiential knowledge and also the way why we tell each other stories is that because that's where we can relate without actually dying or having an accident. We have stories to relate to each other. And once the story, as you know, the story is good, people are aware and they never forget it. They just don't forget it. They internalize that wisdom and then live from then on, the right way or whatever the way is, whatever experience they experienced. And that goes, by the way, in the negative too. If you think women are hurtful and your experience is that women are hurtful or men, then you act your whole life till some other human, proves otherwise, like all men or all women are horrible, So that's the one thing. And then what was the second one?
That your awareness. I mean, we get trapped and we don't have awareness of what's trapping us. So a lot of what you're talking about is some of the mental prisons that we put ourselves into. And we need to escape from some of those prisons, and we have the ability to do that. So the other ones, is my inspirations are aesthetic. So let me just clarify for people listening. Michaell is an Austrian, California multimedia artist, awareness and creativity educator, speaker, and author. And so your work has been coined liminal hard edge, reproductive pop, and creative antidepressant. Now that's quite a mouthful.
I'm just put all the monikers they put on my art, and it's art creation. My art, is what I feel. I don't have any idols or mentors, and that's why I did my podcast 20 seconds, 30 seconds to be a mentor to other artists, because art is literally, I have no education. I'm totally self-taught, and everything all my awareness I got from creating art and being in the artist community, where at least 40 years ago, there was no discrimination. You get the song right and everybody's welcome. You don't, you get out. So all that wisdom that I learned how it can be is so enriching and actually allows me to experience fulfillment, which is the success in the human realm. In the human centric, it's all about the fulfillment. And the system is all about the success. Success is to reach a goal, to surpass a goal, to get things done. But in human ways, it's not about getting things done. It's about, is this work, is this talk, is this connection fulfilling you? Meaning you feel better once you talk to the other person. So we're coming to the end of our timeline here, and you've given us many thought-provoking sound bites. And the other quote that inspires me, a Christian theologian, Reinhold Niebuhr, said, "Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable." And it's not about right or wrong, up or down, left or right. It's good or bad. There's too many dualistic systems. It's about, can we expand our thinking? And you've helped me do that today. So as a parting, I'm an author wrote about me in Forbes magazine. What does a conductor know about leadership? Well, a conductor knows about leadership. That's a laugh.
Yeah. So as your parting thought, as creative beings, how do we help leaders find that value you're talking about? We get off the treadmill. It's about substance. It's about the value we create, not about the timeline. So you've encouraged us to think differently. So how do we as creative artists help leaders?
by realizing, first of all, that we are all artists. We have that muscle. We just have to, practice with it. It's a communication of the non-physical to the physical. And we understand that. So even if I set the table at dinner, I have creative choices to do, and we always do creative choices. So I think that's one thing. We are all artists. It's not the one that's system defined as an artist, or art that is system defined as this is art. Your art doesn't want anything else but being created and exposed. It doesn't need followers. It doesn't need fame and fortune. It just wants to be exposed. In that process of creation, we find more of who we are, because we are the vessel that allows this creation through. And by that, I can say, for example, I always say that to my podcast fellows, they can say you are the worst podcast or you're the absolute best podcast. But one thing they cannot judge or take away, that you did create this podcast. And that's something, you can say, that's a horrible actor. Yeah, he was acting. You weren't acting. You were judging, So, it's easy to judge. That's why people are so attracted by system, because it's a short-time fulfillment, but it's very minute. It's just, okay, I'm great because I said Hugh was the greatest. But it really is, it's just a short-time fulfillment. The real fulfillment is you milk every moment for fulfillment.
Michaell Magrutsche, you've helped me get out of my bubble and think creatively today. Thank you for being my guest today on the Nonprofit Exchange.
Thank you, Hugh.
Thank you for watching the Nonprofit Exchange.